As well as that, because they are effectively, paper is a loss leader for a banking system, and you have to make it work, and most money these days is not spent using paper. It's spent electronically. Now, that means normally a bank card, but for small traders that's quite expensive, and you have to carry out a PDQ if you're running a market store or something like that.
Yeah.
You have to buy or hire an expensive PDQ device. So we've come up with this system which supports local traders. They just have to register their mobile phone with the credit union and open a Bristol Pound account. It's a fairly straightforward process. Takes them about 20 minutes, fill in the forms, about 20 minutes. And then they can receive payments by text, and it takes a few seconds. If we get time later, maybe I can demonstrate one with James. It just works so neatly. And this is a slightly old slide. It's almost exactly that. But a single text. We're used to sending multiple texts these days. We think text sometimes take a while to go through. That's because you send one load of text, goes out as 3 chunks of information that has to be reassembled at the relay, sent to the next relay, reassembled again, and then sent on. If you send a single text, it goes through like that, if it's a short text. So nearly all the payments go through in a few seconds, and it works very, very neatly. So we've got a text-based system. If you just scroll back, I think I've got some of the other ones. Yeah, there you go. So that's what we call a text-based system. And all you have to do is sign up. You can do it online, and if you're a Bristol resident or live in the former county of Avon, then you can join the credit union and open your Bristol Pound account and start paying by text. So that's what we're hoping will happen. We've got about 400 businesses or more, I think, saying they'll accept the pounds, Bristol pounds. We wanted to do it at a significant scale to launch. So we did our launch on 19th of September. It's out there. The paper flew off the shelves. We ran out of 20s and 10s almost straight away. I had to print more 20s, 10s and 5s, I believe. We just want to get as much awareness out there as possible, because the more people who start doing this and start using the system, the better it is for everybody in Bristol. I think that probably, maybe I'll just leave it at that for now. I think there's a few other key factors, key things about the system, probably good to let you know. It's bought as one-to-one with sterling. So it's bought into existence with sterling. We're setting up payroll schemes, so the council, all the members of the council, all staff members at the council will be offered it. That's about 17,000 employees. So hopefully a good portion of them will take it up and start doing payroll deductions.
All they're paying Bristol Pound?
No, it would be a portion, a bit like a deduction you might make for a charity. This goes into your Bristol Pound account.
Oh.
What about the pension fund?
Well, that's an interesting question for later down the line. I'd really like to work with other people some of whom are here today about looking at local investment houses and things like that. But it's definitely for the future. At the moment, it's a straightforward payment system that you can use that allows people to spend by their values, not just once, but it passes that on to the next person who's received them, and then they get to spend in the same way. So there's a big difference between saying, well, I spend locally anyway, so I go to a better food company most of the time. So even if you really do it as often as you say you do, and I know I never did, then all the same, when you pass it on to that person, and then the next person who has it is also encouraged to then spend it locally as well, and it just goes on down the supply chain as we demonstrated there, and it keeps the money local.
But if you want to keep your accounts fed without having any effort, you need
standing order.
You need to stand. Can you do that?
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll give you. So when you sign up, you'll get a sort code and account number and a reference that you put into your normal bank account, your sterling bank account, and you can set up regular payments, or you can do it through payroll if you receive sort of monthly salary.
What's the border within which you can accept or spend this money?
Well, there's it's kind of roughly, the rule of thumb is that it's the membership area for the credit union, which is what used to be known as Avon.
Cuba.
Yeah,
Cuba.
Is that right?
The Cuban dollar, we could have called it.
So the other part of that question: are there any shops in Bath that accept the Bristol Pound?
No. We called it the Bristol Pound because from a kind of community cohesion point of view, it's like, I think it's important that we here sort of have that,
Yeah.
start with a sense of ownership over it.
Yeah.
Because I know there's guys in Bath who want to have the same thing there, a sense of ownership over their own scheme. And then there is a Bath Oliver, which is, but that's a let scheme, I think.
Yeah.
We did start as the Bristol and Bath local currency scheme,
Mm-hmm.
but we thought actually what we need to do is focus down and get Bristol's enough. There are thousands and thousands of independent traders in Bristol,
Sure.
and that's where we'll start. And we started obviously relatively centrally.
Right.
We go out to Knoll and Anderson's Green as well, and other parts of Bristol, but a bit of the focus is more of the more central commercial areas at the moment, and we're just trying to roll it out over the next couple of years, just building the amount of businesses that are accepting it.
So what about South? I mean, I live just over the border in Down End. I mean, South Gloucestershire, is that sort of part of yours?
It is possible, depending on how much. For an individual, it depends on if they qualify to join the credit union membership. So I think parts of South Gloucestershire do qualify for that.
All of South Gloucestershire
All of
is within our membership area, and same with Baines as
There's
well.
there's a local trader in the village we use quite a lot, so I would be quite happy to
Yeah.
use it with them daily.
So we go out, and we also have a thing called Farm Link, which is a way of encouraging primary producers, farmers and forest products, etc., to join. So at the moment, the way the scheme works, it's planned to work, is that you open an account, it's bought into existence with sterling. If you want to change it, and you get 1-to-1, but you get an extra 5% in Bristol pounds as a bonus that we're funding that up front. So if you I put in £500 when I first opened my account, and I got a £25 bonus, which I used to buy my lunch for the first week. So we'll do that for the first £100,000 of sterling deposits, just to a little bit of reward for doing the right thing, kind of thing. But I mean, essentially, people generally want to do it because they want to take part in doing something, giving something back, and supporting their community, supporting Bristol.
Your example there with £34,
Yeah.
that only works when the money is diluted and diluted again. So is it not dependent on, I think it's brilliant,
Yeah.
is it dependent on your baker, his supplier, being a local supplier as well?
Yeah.
Well, partly, yeah. I mean, there are quite a number of the places that have already signed up with accounts do have a supplier. So, for example, there are quite a number of the smaller and larger local independent food shops, and they buy quite a lot of their supplies from an organisation, a cooperative actually, called Essential, which is just down the road, just by Eastville Park, they're down there, and they accept Bristol pounds as well. So those businesses have immediately got somebody in their supply chain that they can buy goods off to then sell. Essential will spend it back by paying staff part of their salaries in Bristol pounds if that's what they wanted to accept. But one of the other good things about it is that if you do have an account and you've received some Bristol pounds and you are struggling a little bit to find somewhere to accept it that you normally would trade with, it's an opportunity to try and encourage them to get involved. And obviously it's the same as with us as individuals, the more of us who ask our local shops, do you take it, or why don't you take it, can you take it, I'd love to be spending it, the more likely they are to get involved. The same thing applies for the suppliers. And one of the different things about the Bristol scheme is that if at the end of the day you can't do that, there is always the thing that all of us as businesses pay, which is business rates. Very few, if any, businesses manage to escape paying business rates, and the City Council will accept business rates in Bristol pounds. So there's always somewhere where you can spend it if you're a small business. You have
South
that
Gloucestershire.
limit. South Gloucestershire, not at the moment. Although,
Would it be useful to have a word with the current chair of South Gloucestershire? Because I know it quite well.
Yeah. Very happy to speak to them. Yeah.